to the Most High, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh, and the name of his only begotten Son, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the elders and apostles, and the Holy Spirit who taught us his truth. Honors to the brethren that's doing the work to push the gospel, risking their life and freedom to do so. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, which will be 1/3 of us Israelites, according to the scriptures, who would be the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. The 1/3 of us who would be seeking our salvation by returning back to the Most High, by hearing and believing on his word, so that he will have mercy on us in judgment. We back with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. This lesson is going to be titled, Squatters Are Taking Over. Again, the lesson is going to be titled, Squatters Are Taking Over. And before we get into it, we're going to read this little post, which I Googled. How did they come up with the expression squatter? Because I heard nothing about this. You know how big of a problem that this is becoming here in America, which is why I'm doing a lesson on it now that I'm aware of it. If you see something, you better say something. All right, the term squatter originally referred to someone who settled on land without legal claim or payment. This term has been used historically to describe individuals who occupy land without permission, often in the context of colonization or land disputes. You know, Christopher Columbus, everything Esau did, stealing lands. So he's the original squatter. Now he being squatted on. The term squatter has evolved to encompass various forms of unauthorized occupation, including buildings and properties. It is often associated with issues of property rights, land ownership, and housing. So once upon a time, squatters was a term used to people who stole lands, such as, through colonization. But now it's been used to describe people with unauthorized occupation. And what's going on, you got druggies, drug addicts, drug dealers, foreigners, they living in vacant apartment buildings, vacant homes. Somebody move out and there's nobody living in certain apartment units. These squatters, they moving into these empty apartment units. If a homeowner dies and there's nobody else living in his home, these squatters is moving into the homes of deceased people, or vacant homes, abandoned buildings. Pretty much, hey, it don't even matter if it's vacant or empty. You could live there, and squatters is coming into your house, coming into your crib, and they living there. Such as, if you at work, you on vacation for a couple days, couple weeks, you come back, you're gonna find somebody living in your house. So that's what a squatter is. We just gave many examples, but I got a string of videos. We're going to talk about them, get some precepts, and that's the lesson, to show how big of a problem that this is becoming in America, which I see this spiraling out of control, contributing to the chaos, to all hell breaking loose here in America. So let's get on these videos about the squatters.
A growing problem and a nightmare for landlords, squatters, who take advantage of laws that allow them to live rent-free as the lengthy court process plays out.
Squatters, the new virus taking over America, stealing homes people have worked their entire lives to obtain. But what nobody's talking about is that America's squatting epidemic looks like it's being allowed to happen on purpose.
Boarded up windows, shattered glass, and trash everywhere, all the result of squatters in the place. And people living in this Brooklyn neighborhood say not even the police can help.
You've heard and seen the horror stories, intruders gaining entry or breaking into unoccupied homes and residences, in some cases mansions, throwing wild parties and living rent and care free.
One of the alleged squatters destroyed their security camera. A few months later, another neighbor caught them taking water from her hose through a hole in the fence.
The alleged squatter says he has every right to be here, and he showed me a lease, which he says proves it. But the agent selling this multi-million-dollar estate says that lease is a fake.
So yeah, squatters, they be in your house, they be in your apartment, talking about they got a lease to be there. And turn out the lease be fake. So these squatters, they got fake paperwork.
hole in the fence.
The alleged squatter says he has every right to be here, and he showed me a lease, which he says proves it. But the agent selling this multi-million-dollar estate says that lease is a fake.
Why can't you just change the locks?
Oh, I will be arrested instantly.
They turned off the hot water and then reported that they had no hot water. It's a $250 fine.
The situation intensified when the house caught fire, but it was just the first of 3 fires at this house as recently as last month.
The police came. They cannot do nothing, they said.
So squatters are now wreaking havoc all across the country. But nobody's talking about the real reason this is happening, which is because America has secretly become filled with laws that protect criminals. Not just when they steal from businesses, closing them down, and not just when they attack the police and get released without bail. No, that's not enough. They're also protected when they steal homes and apartments. And most of America, myself included, has been shocked at the brazenness at which this is happening across the country. Because squatters aren't just taking over homes for a weekend of fun. In some cases, they're living in them for months, if not years. And this is raising uncomfortable questions in the minds of many people, like, what's the point of working hard to own a home if it can just be stolen by squatters at the drop of a hat? What's the point of doing that? Also, why is it that nobody in charge seems to be taking this issue seriously? And most importantly, has America gone from being a country...
So yeah, we saw the video. You know, all kind of hell is coming with these squatters. So we're going to hit Matthew 24:12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And when you look up this word iniquity in the Blue Letter Bible in the Greek, it talks about condition without law. And with law, there is a penalty, there's punishment, there's jail time. Well, these squatters, they moving as if there is no law. And they being treated as such. So, you know, some of the things that happen, you know, they destroying security cameras. They stealing water through holes in the walls. You know, connecting hoses to your water piping to take your water. You know, houses catching on fire back to back. They trashing the place, breaking windows, whether somebody lived there or not, whether it's occupied or not. And you know, then once upon a time, you had trespassing laws, loitering laws, breaking and entering laws, laws protecting private property. None of that stuff don't matter no more. That's iniquity abounding, the condition without law. Another word would be lawlessness abounding. And yeah, and we see that lawlessness is abounding because squatters is doing all this stuff and they not being thrown in jail. They not being penalized or punished by the law. And in fact, you got laws to protect them. You know, matter of fact, let's take part of this video and go back. Let's show an example real quick.
Is a fake.
Why can't you just change the locks?
Oh, I will be arrested instantly.
He said, why can't you change the locks? He said if he changed the locks, he would be arrested instantly. So that's a condition without law. You know, these squatters is doing whatever they feel as they please. You saw at one part in the video, they said they moving in mansions, throwing parties, while the homeowners are out of town. He said living rent-free and carefree. Carefree of what? You know, carefree about the law, about getting in any kind of trouble. But we also going to hit Psalms 94:20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law. And that's what Esau is doing. He's framing mischief by law. Because, you know, you heard in the clip that the police can't do nothing about them. You can't just change the locks on them, which we just heard the clip, but let's hear it again, you know, just for proof.
Is a fake.
Why can't you just change the locks?
Oh, I will be arrested instantly.
So yeah, which frameth mischief by law. You know, Esau, he legalized mischief. He legalized LGBTQ. But if you speak against it, you're breaking the law. So speaking against wickedness is criminalized. Breaking in unoccupied or occupied homes, buildings, and apartments. Now they got laws to protect them. So Esau writes into law mischief. And if you go against that mischief, that same law is going to punish and penalize you. So you see people breaking into buildings and apartments and homes, and you change the locks on them. You going to jail, not them. Not the people who broke into these homes and buildings. You know, the same law that's protecting these criminals, you know, they condemning those who try to take action against the criminals. And why are you calling them squatters? You know, once upon a time, you called them burglars, you know, robbers, criminals, etc. Now, let's go back to this video real quick.
Turned off the hot water and then reported that they had no hot water. It's a $250 fine.
So, yeah, if the squatters stealing your water and you turn off the hot water on them, you're going to get the $250 fine, not them. They not going to get in no trouble for stealing your water, but you'll get in trouble for turning it off on them. That's the wicked who frameth mischief by law. They legalize mischief, theft, and wickedness, but they criminalize the upright, those who take action against this wickedness, theft, mischief. You know, the law is going to condemn you, but not condemn the criminals. And it's like, you know, the trespass and no loitering, the breaking and entering laws was never in effect. So, you know, so Esau can change the laws, you know, to fit his agenda. And right now we see he want to make all hell break loose, which he's adjusting his laws to bring that result. All right, so now we're going to go to the next video.
Homeowner says he hid and waited for the squatter to return. Thanks for joining us at 10 o'clock. I'm Ray Vieva.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Luann Sorrell. Soon enough, those two men came face to face. The intruder bolted but was eventually arrested. Fox 35's Marie Edinger went up to Ocala and spoke exclusively with that homeowner.
I can't sleep without the gun on my person.
This Ocala homeowner isn't sure how long it'll take him to be comfortable in his own home again. Police say Zamoya Brown had been squatting in the house for months and absolutely trashed the place while he was there.
I look at it and all I want to do is cry.
This no trespassing sign didn't do the homeowner any good. He says he was out of town and noticed his electric bill going up. That made him suspicious. But it wasn't until he arrived back at home that he realized what had happened. The day the homeowner got back in town, he says he saw his door ajar, the house disheveled, but no one there. He called police to report some stolen items, including an electric scooter, guns, tools, and documents like a social security card and the deed to his house. He decided to sleep in the closet just in case someone showed up.
Opening my eyes, and here's this guy at the bedroom door. And the door's open about this wide, looking straight down at me. So I freaked. I jumped up with my pistol and said, "Get the out of my house."
The police report recounts the two arguing over who owns the house. The homeowner fired a shot into the floor.
Now he starts saying, "You can't do that. You're going to jail. I'm going to call the police." He said, "Good, call the police." And he did.
He's the one who called police?
Yeah.
When police asked the homeowner if he wanted to press charges, he said at first he just asked if Brown could be trespassed.
I said, I don't want the guy to go to jail. He reminds me of my son in a way. Tall, skinny, too smart for his own good, and dumb as a bag of rocks at the same time.
Brown went.
All right, so we saw that video, just another incident of squatters taking over America. And it seemed like it's mainly Edomites that's being affected by this. But you saw in the video, it said that, dude was out of town and that the squatter had been squatting in his house, meaning staying there unauthorized for months. And he said he completely trashed the place. He said there was trash everywhere, broken windows. And then he said while he was out of town, he noticed electric bill was going up while he was out of town. So if you see your bills going up all of a sudden, your electricity going up, your water and gas going up, it may be a squatter in your home. But, again, Psalms 94:20, should the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law. So Esau you got to understand, well, with breaking and entering and burglary and loitering, is going to come other crimes. You know, and what was said in the video? Not only was he staying in his home unauthorized, without permission, without legal permission, it said that he stole the man's guns. He stole his social security card, other forms of identification, and stole an electric scooter. So the man got an electric scooter, fake ID, now he got firearms. What could come with that? Drive-bys, murdering, identity theft, etc. You know, all kind of crimes. The dude is now mobile and he got firepower. So again, which frame of mischief by law? So Esau is giving rights to these squatters. You giving them rights to be in people's homes, that's going to lead to other crimes, such as what was just listed: identity theft, drive-bys, murdering, robberies, etc. So legalizing squatters, you actually allowing these other crimes to take place. And then it said the trespassing signs did no good. So the trespassing signs that people used to be aware of don't even matter. Alarm systems, security cameras don't even matter. Police can't even do nothing now. That was said in the first video clip. And then towards the end of the video, you know, when the homeowner came back, he said he waited in the closet until the squatter returned. Then he said the two got into an argument over who owned the house. So the squatter, the people who were staying there illegally, actually argued with the legitimate homeowner about whose house it was. So imagine that. You know, you out of town, you at work, you come back home to your house that you've been paying the bills for, is somebody arguing with you, saying it's their house and not yours. And then it was the squatter that actually called the police. But let's get the next precept. We're gonna go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and the men shall be afraid. And that Edomite's house was destroyed. Guns, electric scooters, forms of identification was stolen, windows broken, the house was trashed, and the man was afraid. What he say? He don't know when he'll ever be comfortable in his own house again. He said he can't sleep unless he got the gun on him. That's the house being destroyed and men being afraid. Why? Because of their pride. Hey, so squatters, they got pride out here. You know, they got rights. But we're going to go to the next video clip. And then again, you can't change the locks on them. You'll get in trouble. You'll get jail time. You can't turn off the water or the electricity on them because you will get fined. Because again, Esau, he frame of mischief by law. So we're going to get to the next video because it gets worse. Teen squatters accused of murdering New York City woman. So let's hear how this played out.
All right, the teens accused of murdering a woman inside her apartment in Kips Bay arraigned inside a Manhattan courtroom today, the pair pleading not guilty. And tonight we're learning more about what prosecutors say led up to the murder and how the victim's body was found stuffed inside a duffel bag. As well as the shopping spree the accused went on with the victim's credit card in the days before they were caught in Pennsylvania. Fox 5's Stephanie Bertini has the latest.
18-year-old Kensley Alston and 19-year-old Hallie Tejada are facing a string of charges in connection to the murder of 52-year-old Nadia Vitells. Both Tejada and Alston pled not guilty at their arraignment in criminal court, where prosecutors laid out the details of the crime.
Nadia Vitells sent a photo of her Lexus parked near 206 East 31st Street here in Manhattan. She was in the process of moving into apartment 19A of that building, and she's seen on surveillance video arriving at that building along with her dog and belongings around 11:30 a.m. on the 12th. She's never seen alive again.
2 days later, on March 14th, her concerned loved ones called police for a welfare check at the apartment. That led to the discovery of her lifeless body in a duffel bag.
Coats were piled on top of a bag on the floor in the closet, and when family members moved the coats aside, they noticed that the bag contained a body. That body was later identified as Nadia Vatel's.
Prosecutors say surveillance video shows the pair walking in and out of the building and to Vatel's apartment before and after she was last seen. The duo was allegedly squatting in the apartment. According to court documents, they gained entry to the building by repeatedly buzzing until someone would let them in. An autopsy determined Vatel's died of blunt force trauma. Prosecutors say she was still alive when she was stuffed in the duffel bag.
Defendant Alston said that Ms. Vatel's was still breathing when they bound her wrists and put her body in a bag, which they hid in the closet.
The two reportedly fled to Pennsylvania in Vatel's vehicle, where they crashed the vehicle and, according to prosecutors, went on a 9-day shopping spree with Vatel's credit card before they were arrested.
During their 9 days in Pennsylvania, they made multiple purchases at various locations, captured on surveillance video with Ms. Vatel's credit cards. They purchased a PS5, AirPods, clothing, food, and even a diamond ring.
It came out in court today that the two teenagers are a couple. They were both remanded, meaning they'll remain behind bars until their next court date.
Man, you see, it get crazier and crazier with these squatters. So again, Matthew 24:12, because of iniquity, lawlessness, squatters, not being punished and penalized as they would have been in the past, the love of many shall wax cold. That ranges from people stealing your water, your electricity, trying to legally steal your house with fake documents, to you getting murdered in your own apartment, your vehicle stolen, debit cards, credit cards, and cash stolen, and they still be living there. And like they said in the video, that before her murder and after her murder, they was in the apartment. Once upon a time, people would flee from the murder scene. They would not return. But what? The love of many is waxing cold. So after your murder, they going to still be living in your apartment, living in your house. They're not going to flee the scene. And then again, the throne of iniquity, which frameth mischief by law. Psalms 94:20. Again, Esau got all kind of laws to protect squatters, to give squatters rights. That's a different video, but everybody can look it up for themselves. Because right now, they passing new laws to start criminalizing the squatters, because the American people are complaining. But who gave them the rights in the first place? Esau, Edom, again, which frameth mischief by law. So you allowing these squatters to illegally occupy vacant homes, apartments, and buildings. You giving squatters rights to even occupy apartments and homes with people living in them. So you giving them the right to do that. You giving them right to do something else, as we said before. Like the previous video, stole the man's electric scooters, his guns, his identification. So what is he going to do with that stuff? Well, what did the people do in this case here? It said they went on a 9-day shopping spree. So after that, they stole her vehicle. They stole her credit cards. They bought AirPods, PS5s, diamond rings, and then crashed the vehicle. So because Esau framed mischief by law and gave these squatters rights, that led to trespassing. And that led to what? A murder. That led to what? Identity theft. That led to what? Stolen vehicles. All because, in your law, you wrote a way for squatters to be able to do what they do, and that led to other crime. That led that's leading to an increase in crime. And went on a 9-day shopping spree and crashed the vehicle. Could have possibly killed other people. All of that, because of squatters' rights. In the next precept we're gonna get 2nd Ezra 15 and 18, or 19. We're going to get 18 again and go into the next one. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The cities are being troubled right now. Why? Because of the pride of the people. Squatters, they're going to have migrants getting active. The pride of the American people, they troubled in the cities. The houses shall be destroyed. We saw that. Houses catching on fire, holes in the walls, houses trashed, men afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. So they had no pity on the people's house that they were squatting in. They killed the lady, left her in her apartment, put her in a duffel bag while she was still alive, then threw it in the closet, and that's where she died. That's a man having no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. That's that firepower. Machine guns, AKs, 9mm, etc. And spoil you their goods. Yeah, stole her credit cards, debit cards, went on a shopping spree, spoiling your electricity and your water, making your bills skyrocket because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. You know, these squatters obviously going through hard times, which is why they doing the stuff they doing in the first place. But the thing is, you know, Esau allowed it to happen. It's going to cause all hell to break loose. Also, too, we're going to go to the book of Sirach 27:1. Many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. So yeah, men sin for the smallest of things. So what would they do for an abundance is what that's saying. But even also more when we focus on the first part of the precept, many have sinned for a small matter. So because they wanted a diamond ring, some AirPods, and a PS5, that led to trespassing, that led to a murder, that led to stolen vehicles and identity theft for things that didn't matter. AirPods and the PS5, a small matter. So what would they do for a bigger matter? The things that's necessary for life. They didn't kill the woman, steal her vehicle and her money and credit cards for food and water, for necessities. You know, they did that for extracurricular things. Did that for things that's not important. So many sin for a small matter. And what they gonna do for a bigger matter? Things they really need. What people gonna do when they really get hungry out here in the famine? When they really need water? They got a family, they really need something and somebody else got it. What they gonna do then? You know, people doing this level of iniquity before all hell even break loose. What you think gonna happen when all hell actually do break loose? But yeah, so let's get to the next precept, or excuse me, the next video. So again, many sin for a small matter, and what they gonna do for things that's actually needed for life.
But right now at 10:30, a problem property in Holly Hill is now under the microscope after detectives arrested 6 suspected squatters. Almost all of them are facing drug charges tonight. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Luann Sorrell.
And I'm Hannah McKenzie. Work continues to get the remaining squatters out of the house and have the property condemned. Fox 35's Patrick Perez spoke with neighbors who are thankful something is finally being done.
Yeah, neighbors say this house has been a problem here for months. Junk and debris all over the property, drug deals in plain sight. City leaders are hopeful that'll all change soon. A welcome sight at a problem property in Holly Hill.
The amount of fentanyl that was found on this property is absolutely reprehensible.
Detectives arrested 6 people Wednesday evening during a drug bust at what's supposed to be a vacant home along Flomich and Montgomery. At least a dozen people are suspected of living here illegally for months.
We will not stop until this issue is permanently resolved and this house is reclaimed for our community so that it is safe.
In handcuffs in the front yard. What was your reaction then, Mike?
Hot dog. Finally, something's getting done.
Mike Moon is one of many neighbors thankful city leaders and law enforcement are taking action.
They're just debris and piles of bicycles and trash and just so many people going in and out, in and out. No electricity, no running water. It's been like 3 or 4 months that it's been really bad.
For several months, he and other Holly Hill residents have been complaining to the city about the vacant property being overrun by suspected squatters. But officials have been met with legal roadblocks.
The homeowner passed away. The person who the house went to passed.
So see, the homeowner passed away and squatters overtook the home. And they ain't been able to do nothing about it. They got to go through a lengthy court process.
So it's hard to determine. How do you determine trespass? How do you determine those things?
Last month,
it ain't hard to determine when it's your law. It wasn't hard to determine when they was using the law against us all through the 70s, 80s, and the 90s, and the 2000s. Now they don't know how to use the law. Because again, Psalms 94:20, which frame of mischief by law. Esau manipulate the laws how he want. But let's get the next precept real quick. We're gonna go, I think, back to the book of Second Ezra, and we're gonna go to chapter 16, verse 46. For strangers shall reap their fruits, and spoil you their goods, and overthrow their houses. So yeah, if you die, they're gonna take over your house, your apartment. Even if you live in there, they might come with fake court documents, fake leases, saying it's their house, it's their apartment, and they dare you to call the police. Like the one instance, when the Edomite was hiding in the closet, waiting for the squatter to show himself, the squatter called the police, not the actual homeowner. And it says, take their children captives, for in captivity and famine shall they get children. So that's why above it says, therefore they that labor in vain. So imagine, working, establishing yourself, stocking up on all kind of goods, foods, etc., and squatters using up your stuff. You work for everything, and they ain't worked for nothing, but got access to all your stuff. Ain't nothing you can do about it. You got to go through a lengthy court process to get them removed. And if you take action into your own hands, you're going to be thrown in jail. You're going to be fined. And this goes deeper into actually all hell breaking loose. People just breaking in your house and taking your stuff because you got it and you can't do nothing about it. But it's already happening. People already can't do nothing about it. See, the difference is people peacefully committing trespassing and breaking and entering. All hell break loose, ain't gonna be nothing peaceful about it. Right now, you did have an instance, the squatter killed the woman, but it's gonna be a lot more of that. A lot of times these squatters, they just living in the property, whether somebody there or not, just to survive. But the time's coming, it's gonna be deeper than that. It's gonna be to take you out so that they can survive. So also too, we're gonna get this last precept because there's a lot of American people that are squatting, but there's a new kind of squatter, that's taking over America. That's why we're gonna go to the next video. Shoot, that ain't it. Let's check this out. Is this video here? You see the title, it begins, migrant squatters.
Let's talk about employee engagement.
Migrant squatters take over New York City. So now you're going to have all the migrants squatting.
With the guns, had open cases.
I know
it's... Look at Esau, bro.
It's in me.
8 migrants are in ICE custody this morning after after a raid where police discovered illegal guns and drugs in the house where they were squatting. All of this happening just steps away from an elementary school. By the way, this is not the first time some...
That is unbelievable, and experts say it's only the beginning of a much larger growing problem.
Surveillance video shows the moment 4 NYPD officers are seen running in the direction of a multifamily home. They were responding to a call about a man with a gun. They chased one man into the basement.
Authorities say they were part of a heavily armed group of migrants allegedly selling drugs after taking over this multi-family house.
The problem is that there were squatters. There were a lot of people, a lot of young people, a lot of motorcycles. They were a nuisance in the neighborhood.
The suspect who prompted that 911 call that set all of this off, it's this guy on your screen. He was accused of shooting a man last year.
Oh, y'all see that? Venezuelan with murder charge arrested again. So another murder charge.
He was accused of shooting a man last year.
The 8 suspects face gun, drug, and child endangerment charges. All but 2 of them were released without bail.
If you don't know that the state of New York's justice system has collapsed, you don't want to know.
Police say this is one part of one migrant gang, and there are others.
So squatting is the latest trend to take off in America. But what nobody's talking about is this recent squatting gang-related bust, and all of the other incidents taking place here in New York are actually the fault of the city's laws that protect squatters and release armed criminals without bail, which encourages them to recommit the same offenses they were never punished for in the first place. On top of that, the judge who released these particular gang members has a history of releasing thugs who attack police. And the uncomfortable truth this reveals is that New York is no longer a sanctuary city just for immigrants. It is now also a sanctuary city for dangerous, violent criminals, with gangs openly recruiting new members among the city's shelter populations for the purposes of riding around on mopeds and stealing phones and wallets from unsuspecting New Yorkers as they walk down the street. But that's not enough. Now homes and apartments are being stolen by gang members as well, all while the city of New York covers for them and protects them. On top...
See? That's Psalms 94:20, which frame of mischief by law. They actually write in the law to legalize criminal activity and protect the criminals. And those that react or take action against it, they get penalized and punished. But you see, now we got migrant squatters, and they're on a whole nother level. Drugs, guns, murdering. Now the migrants are creating gangs and joining other migrant gangs, taking advantage of the people. Also, too, he mentioned it in the video, but I wanted to show this real quick. This is a screenshot. Wife of Venezuelan migrant influencer who made TikToks encouraging people to invade United States and squat in houses, complains she can't see him after he was arrested and thrown in jail. So I wasn't going to play the video. This was good enough. But he was speaking in whatever language they speak in South America. I'm assuming Spanish, but telling other people in South and Central America, yo, come to America and squat in people's houses. They got laws to protect us when we squat, when you take people's homes. This may be all propaganda. He probably wasn't really thrown in jail because Esau has an agenda. But you see, this is a Venezuelan migrant. And this is the point why this is important. Remember, Venezuelan. Now look at this. FBI now admitting that Venezuela emptied their prisons and sent their inmates to the United States. So Venezuela empty out their prisons, their prisoners, they all come into America. This Venezuelan is encouraging them, telling them to come squat up in your house. So one day, a lot of people gonna find these guys in their houses and apartments up in their refrigerator, living in the attic, in the basement, in the guest bedroom. And what you people gonna do about it? You Americans that dwell safely in their homes, having neither gates nor bars, what you gonna do? Ain't gonna be nothing you can do about it, but go through the court process to get them removed, because you can't force them to get them removed. What you gonna say to them people? They ain't gonna be able to understand you, and hey, that's just how bad it's gonna get. But we going to hit Luke chapter 23, verse 31. For if they do these things in the green tree, what shall be done in the dry? What's the green tree? America is still running and functioning normal for the most part. So if people killing women, stuffing them in duffel bags in the closets, taking their debit cards, taking their vehicles, squatting in your house, taking your firearms, going on 9-day shopping sprees for PS5s, diamond rings, and an AirPod, what they gonna do when it's an actual famine out here? What they gonna do when they ain't got no food to eat and they just trying to survive? When they ain't got the necessities? You know, squatting and what comes with that, theft, shopping sprees, electric scooters being stolen. You know, that's all a hobby. That's just extracurricular activity to somebody that ain't got nothing to do. Well, what these people gonna do when they actually in need? When you or they ain't got no food up in your house. Or you got the food, but you know, you trying to up the firearms against them. Well, these migrants got firearms too, which I did in the previous lesson. I'm going to do it in the lesson this weekend. This is part 1 to a bigger lesson I got coming. But yeah, if they do these things in the green tree, what they going to do in the dry? If they going to kill you and steal your stuff just to go on a shopping spree, what these folks going to do when they really need a bite to eat? You seen the Snickers commercial. You not you when you hungry. So we're going to go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 15. We're going to start at 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Because this is what's going to happen in a dry tree. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. One people shall stand up and fight against another. That's race wars, class wars, civil wars, etc. One people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. What's the modern day sword? Them guns. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. That's actually what squatting is. It's a home invasion, which is a term that I've been trying to think of the whole lesson to go along with breaking and entering, trespassing. But home invasion, that's what squatting is. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. They don't regard the law. They don't regard law enforcement. They don't regard punishment and penalty by the law, as we've seen. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. What's that power? That's firepower. That's why the first thing they do is steal guns. Because people feel like, you know, they can do anything once they got a gun in their hand. And that's going to be the case as times get worse. You know, those who ain't got no firepower, who ain't got no guns, they're going to be somewhere hiding in the closet. But those with all the firepower, they're going to be the main ones taking action. And this is going to be in a dry tree. Right now, we still in the green. So yeah, it's squatting season in America. Esau, the original squatter, is now being squatted on. All the stuff that came with him, invading people's countries, taking lands, taking houses, oppressing people, is now being done unto him. Hey, so this is all judgment for the gray whore. And this is all leading up to what? All hell breaking loose and order out of chaos through the RFID microchip, the Neuralink brain chip and the RFID microchip. So the Lord said the sinners of my people gonna die by the sword. So ain't nobody of the house of Israel gonna make it out of this unless you return back to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And we doing the lessons is a sign that you can still repent, turn back to the Lord to be found worthy to escape. So that's it for this lesson here. Till next time. Shalom.